In today's video, we're going to check out one of the most unique looking laptops from Lenovo. This one is called the Yoga Book 9i. Now, it's in Gen 10 form, meaning we have updates for over generational improvements, but we also have dual displays. We have dual 14-inch displays here that give us basically an experience that almost no other laptop can do. And I say this because most laptops connected to an external display can't do what this laptop can actually do at its core with the software that Lenovo has been developing and improving over generational updates. And of course, a few accessories that they sent at the same time. So without further ado, this is the Yoga Book 9i. Let's go ahead and check it out and see what makes it so special. Like and subscribe and make sure you hit that bell icon so that you're always notified to whenever we have new videos for you on the channel. Now, Lenovo was nice enough to send me this package and it included a few accessories. One of them was actually the sleeve or carrying sleeve that allows it to actually carry the folio case or kickstand / keyboard case, because this is something that the Yoga Book has been carrying for quite some time. So we have this nice origami style kickstand built in the back. And they've also included this Bluetooth keyboard that works like a standard Bluetooth keyboard the way you would expect it, connected to the case at the bottom here, or you can even use it on the actual display in a couple of different forms. We'll check that out once we get there. But it's definitely very nice, and it is USB-C charge on the side, and it is a Bluetooth connection. So you do need to pair that to your Yoga Book. From an organizational standpoint, very nice and very sleek, very simple, and it does fit in the top part. Of course, right after that, you can actually see right away. Let's go ahead and take that out. We do have pen input that is nice and also very configurable. So you can either house it directly with the keyboard case, the folio case, or the actual sleeve. If you do end up picking up the sleeve, this actually has a very nice position for it. And of course, the star of the show, the Lenovo. This is again the Lenovo Yoga Book Gen 10 9i. So we have still the iconic bar at the middle here. I'll go ahead and let it focus. This one's pretty much kind of like the connection between the two displays, as well as the sound bar connected to it at the bottom. It is powered by an Intel Ultra 7. This is called the 9i. It's not actually running by an i9 processor. The other thing that it also has here, obviously the kickstand on the bottom, some air vents on the back. On the front, pretty much straightforward. We have the webcam positioned here. This is an iconic Lenovo configuration. On the left side, we have a USB-C connection for a power and of course indicator lights on the side, mirrored with an additional one on the right side. On this side, we have two additional USB-C ports and of course the power button. And of course, we have the additional lock on the bottom here. Now, as we said before, this actually features two displays. I'll go ahead and give it a second. I'll let it boot up. So you'll notice right away, you're greeted directly with the top display. This one is a 14-inch display here. Now, both displays are POLED displays, and they're running at about 2.8K displays, meaning we're running 3K displays at 16:10 aspect ratio and up to 750 nits in here. And of course, with a few additional options, but the main thing is these are touch sensitive. So it means I can actually unlock, lock, and use them directly on the display, which allows us to have functionality like when we actually unlock the computer to be able to actually use our fingers. So basically the ability of launching applications, opening our Windows application. We actually can launch certain functionalities. If I put basically 8 fingers on the keyboard on the screen on the bottom, it actually brings a virtual keyboard and a virtual touchpad, making it run or look very much like a regular PC. Of course, I can bring this down. I'm going to put 3 fingers down here and bring in just a touchpad here. If I want to just have a virtual touchpad, I can close that as well. Now, we talked about the fact that we have pen input in here. So if we take the pen, everything kind of gets configured as well. So we can go ahead and launch different applications. Let's go ahead and open up the start menu here. We can open it up at the top or at the bottom. Either way, the system recognizes where you're using it. One of the reasons why we have access to directly having the taskbar on the bottom and on the top. Although just for reference, the main one is on the top. That's when you see your notification and of course all the different options in here at the bottom. But the nice thing about them is when you open up applications, let's say we open up an app here. I opened it at the top display and I want to open up, let's say, just bring it down to the bottom. There's a couple of things we can do. We can either just grab it from the top, do this, and then swipe it down. And at this point, it becomes part of my bottom display. I can open it up, open up another application. Another nice thing about it is, let's say I just want to bring it up to the top. I can go ahead and just click on the actual app itself with my finger here. It just brings it up to the top. I want to bring it back down. Same thing. Basically, multiple configurations, multiple options to be able to use them. I can open up the apps in here. I had it, by the way, just referencing. I've had it configured so that it opens any new applications directly on the top display, as again, it recognizes this as the main display. And of course, we can just use our pen, configure everything that we want. We can close it, we can search. Now, the nice thing about it here, if I minimize this and let's say I just put, again, 8 fingers in here. The actual keyboard is a touch keyboard, so I can actually just, again, we're just going to go ahead and just type in a few things for you here. So we're going to just say, I'm going to look for YouTube. The touch interface is nice. It's not the most as quick as a response if you're using a keyboard, but as an example, we'll be able to bring it down here. Again, we have gesture support. We can bring it down. Now, I did type YouTube, but it brought in a whole bunch of different things. We can actually open it up here, download, and just download it. Go ahead and get, let's say we want to get Netflix. So I'll go ahead and get, and go back in here. I'll give it a second to finish up. And if I'm done with this, I can just basically use just gestures the same way we normally use them on Windows, just basically fingers down, bringing in fingers up. So basically pretty much the same configuration. Jumping between the two different windows, all of those things, very nice. Now, these are some of the main features that we've seen with Lenovo on some of the options. Again, you can use pen input, you can use the mobility functionality, use it in tent mode, meaning I can mirror my display. Somebody on the other side can actually see it as the actual display opens up entirely to the opposite side. Very nice and very simple, and you can use it in that mode. And one of the nice things I like about it is the functional options that we have on the side here is a little bit more than what you normally expect. So first and foremost, we can actually make the touchpad showing or non-showing, both thing. But I can also bring in a nice little note side on here. Basically, I can actually take notes. So I can just say Lenovo Yoga Book 9i is here. And of course, I can add it, go in, add additional notes and customize. Of course, I can just put it away. Very simple. Now, where this becomes really, really cool. First and foremost, we talked about the yoga with the actual kickstand in here. This is where the keyboard starts becoming multifunctional. So first and foremost, we talked about this, that this is a Bluetooth keyboard. So I'm just going to go ahead and turn it on. And just for reference, they do also have an additional mouse that is also designed to work as well. So you don't necessarily have to use the on-screen touchpad. I can actually just open up the mouse pad and bring it in and just, again, use it whichever way. I can use virtual mouse pad once the mouse is not connected in here. So I can just turn this one off, use the three fingers in here, bring in a virtual touchpad, or we can actually also use the keyboard in a slightly different configuration. So if I bring the keyboard and I just connect it to the bottom part of my display, now the top part of my display doesn't shut off. It actually becomes more of a functional secondary screen per se. In case I want to be able to maybe open up a second screen, I can actually just bring it down. I can use it as a second display, and you can see here that it's independent from the main display at the top, making it really nice and very functional. Again, similar to some laptops we've seen on the market where we have a second display. So keyboard sits on the side. We can use the mouse here now. At this point, we basically are fully functional like a regular laptop with an additional display. Very nice and simple. But if I shift the keyboard to the top, at the bottom part becomes now a standard keyboard. Again, the same way we had it with the virtual keyboard, I can still use the pen input in here if I want to be able to make notes. A lot of nice functional options. And of course, all of this needs to be basically configured depending on where the mouse, where the actual keyboard is sitting. So the magnets that we have is, well, the system is very much aware where you're putting it. A lot of nice things, very nice. All the shortcuts are positioned in here. You can go ahead and notice that it's actually also backlit. You'll notice right there on the bottom that it actually does show the lighting in here. Let's go ahead and just bring it up a little bit. So you can kind of see here, it's a backlit keyboard. You can remove it, put it on, configure it. Although I will say, do not try to close it with it. It's not intended for that. So removing it first, closing the laptop. And at this point, you can actually notice, you'll notice a little bit of a magnet because you'll notice right there, it does not slide. So a lot of different positions for magnets and configurations to make this laptop work absolutely fantastic. So what makes this laptop so special is the fact that it is very versatile. It literally fits what you need. And that's one of the unique things about the Yoga series from Lenovo that we've seen for many years. It's super thin, it's super lightweight, high quality displays with high brightness. The accessories that come with it are very nice and functional and purposely designed for it. The software so far has been improved over the many generational upgrades from we've seen before. I like the fact that the keyboard works a different function. You could use it independent when you're using the kickstand, and it's a standard basically keyboard with the mouse that they provided. You can put it again, displays top on top and bottom, or you can put them side by side depending on what you're working on. For me, when I'm editing, I like them top on bottom because it allows me to actually put my timeline at the bottom and then of course my preview panel at the top. But what makes it so nice, again, you can switch it around and then now have two running panels for, let's say, web page design or something where you're actually designing web pages, and it makes it more functional to see it in the native format. At the end, though, the keyboard works in many ways that makes it super unique. You could use it disconnected as a standard keyboard with the origami case, which is one of my favorite features, by the way. Or, as you saw there, on the display, magnetically connecting to the top or bottom gives you a different experience. If you want a touchpad and you don't want to use a mouse, use the on-screen touchpad. If you want to have that extra display, kind of like a ticker and a little bit more widget functionality at the bottom, while still having your 14-inch at the top, it's going to work great. The configuration that I had here has 16 gigabytes of RAM with 1 terabyte storage. Absolutely great for, I would say, on-the-road productivity from, word processing, managing web pages, doing a lot of content. It did not have enough RAM for me to be able to do a lot of video processing. I probably would go with something with at least 32 gigabytes of system RAM. The built-in graphics, again, not high-end GPUs. It's intended to be more of an ultra-light book. So keep in mind what we're getting here is the functional options that we love. Now, the battery that we have in here is an 88-watt battery, and they do include a 65-watt charger in the box, US style, that allows us to charge this up quite quickly. The 5-megapixel camera on the front allows us to actually obviously do video calling. It's built in. It's a nice design. You saw that in the display on the top. Now, again, by default, all applications do launch on the main display, which is considered to be the top one, as the bottom one's more the functional options. And of course, the accessories are absolutely necessary to get the full experience. So who do I think this is for? This is for somebody that's looking for a lightweight laptop that wants more functionality than a standard just, 13-inch, 14-inch laptop, because the dual displays can work very much in your benefit when you need to be more productive and have more landscape at the same time. The origami case, which also doubles as the carrying case for the keyboard, works great for when you need it, and it can be put away when you don't. If you want to be able to interact with this via touch, both displays are super nice, very, very responsive, and there's a few gestures you could do to turn on the on-screen keyboard or the on-screen touchpad, so you don't have to really use any other accessories. So I like that from that form factor, and I feel like this is really more for somebody that's looking to be more productive on the go without having to have a laptop with an external display that's connected and you have to find wires. Everything is in there. Battery life is actually pretty decent. And again, I enjoyed traveling with this to Paris, and as I was covering another event, but using this to actually take down a lot of my notes and my work, and of course, managing my channel. That's going to be one of my biggest things, of course, at the end of the day. So with that being said, thank you very much to Lenovo for allowing me to check out the 9i, the Yoga Book 9i Gen 10. And I can't wait to see what else Lenovo has in store for us. I mean, we've seen a lot of concepts on a lot of things at CES, at MWC, and we even saw some new things coming up at IFA. So I'm really excited to see what Lenovo has in store for us in the future. Like and subscribe as usual. Thank you very much for the support. I will see you in the next video.